If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is July 23rd, 2020. And today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, it was gold that explodes to the upside yesterday, hitting a yearly high of 1860 and trading just above it right now. But let's take a look at the various markets as well. So again, there's no major economic event scheduled for today, but as we look at the markets, they're reeling. First, starting out with the currencies, the euro, the Aussie dollar, and the Canadian dollar continue to rally versus the USD. Okay, they continue to get stronger. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq continue to tread on lighter volume. Really no directional move there. Now looking at the commodities, gold and oil both break out. As mentioned, gold hitting all-time new highs for the year. And lastly, looking at the stocks, Microsoft beats its earnings, sells off in after-hours trading, and stocks are currently standing in a pivotal moment. I'm going to take a look at that in just a second. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So starting out here with the Euro USD, it looks like it's back, okay? As we mentioned earlier the week, we posed above this resistance-ish level of 1475-ish level, and once we hit that, we just took off. We're trading right now at 1581. Now for us to really give us a perspective of where we're standing in the Euro USD, you got to move to a longer time chart. Looking at the daily, you can see that this is a yearly high, almost a 2-year high. And looking at the weekly, the next real resistance-ish level, as I mentioned yesterday, is 1735. So we still have a good amount of real estate that we can continue trading here on the upside. Now looking at any type of retracements, what was previously your resistance is subsequently your support. Okay, so if we do retrace, the real next support line I would say is 1450. Okay, that would be where you'd like to support to. Now this move is massive. Okay, going from 12 to 15, that's over a 300 pip move in less than a week. That is very important. Now we haven't been in these type of moves, okay, this type of extreme move, okay, since 2017, which is really very important to highlight because it looks like the volatility is coming back to some of the currencies. Now looking at the GBP USD, still a little dead here at 27.36, not rallying higher, okay, but this still may play catch up, okay, but there's significant multi-time frame resistance here, okay, that we really need to break above, okay. And to highlight that, you can see right here, this was support previously as we traded in this higher range after Brexit, okay. Now since then we haven't broke above this, okay. 127 is really the high here and not closing above it, so that really has to happen for this to continuously look if it's going to trend upward. Now looking at the Aussie dollar, we continued there as well to 71.50. Now again, the next real resistance-ish level is 72, and we're looking at a weekly chart here, so this is really very important to highlight. Now looking at the Rand, okay, this is the one that I was mentioning yesterday. It's not breaking the 1644, but it needs to, okay? And the reason why it needs to is because gold is trading higher, and that obviously reflects to better returns for South African government. And with that said, I really want to keep a very sharp eye on this later today to see if we finally get that breakout on the downside, meaning the Rand getting stronger versus the USD. Now looking at the Canadian dollar, we saw it continuously get stronger versus the USD. We're trading at 134. That is also being propelled by the fact that oil is trading higher, and most of its gains is coming from that. Now looking at gold, look at this breakout. All right, now we're looking at a monthly chart. Okay, we haven't been to these levels, okay, to this historical level of 1868 since 2011. Okay, that was really the height of it and when the markets took off. Now this is kind of an interesting environment that we found ourselves, because at that time the US markets were not trading at these type of intervals. Okay, definitely not at the 10,000 on the Nasdaq, and definitely not at 26,000 ish on the Dow Jones, okay, which means that, okay, right now there seems to be a rotational move to this type of investment, to gold, and we do anticipate it's going to go higher throughout the year. So we do want to look for pullbacks. We missed it earlier this week when it pulled back to that 1797 okay, right there, 1797 as it pulled out, and then breaking above it with some momentum, using that as a consolidation at 1817, and then breaking it out further. Okay, so this does have move to go further upside. It looks like it's the third day, okay, which means that there's usually a correctional move after that third day. So just anticipate that if that does happen. Now looking at the Dow Jones, okay, yesterday we're pretty much setting up an ascending triangle. Now the reason I say that is that we've been, really flirting with this upper limit of 26,900-ish level 3 times. Now, if it doesn't break above it, then we may see a correctional move on the downside. But right now, it does look like it's setting itself up to have a breakout. Now, the stocks did recede after hours because Microsoft did come out, even though it beat its earnings, people taking some money off the table. But today's going to be a really decisive day to that. Okay, now looking at the NASDAQ trading at 10,837. Yes, it is at its upper limit, but not breaking out higher. Okay, I'd like to see that actually happen. Got to look to the stocks to actually see that actually happening. Looking at Apple, we retraced. Let's look at a 1-hour chart, not breaking out higher, consolidating here. So this may give us an opportunity to break to the upside, but I want to really keep it at a very, very conservative stop loss because we are trading at very large intervals here. Same thing with Amazon and very similar stuff with Microsoft. Okay, as they consolidate at these levels, we're looking at Microsoft right here trading at 211 into yesterday's close and then gapping down to 208. So we may see that happening today as well as the market opens. Now lastly, I want to mention Alcoa. Now this was really important as it's still flirting with this 1354. Keep this on the radar because if it does break that 1354, it's going to explode. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.